Welcome to the Alcohol Free Life podcast, brought to you by thesoberclub.com. I'm Janey Grace. This is for you if you've quit the booze or you'd like to, or maybe you're just sober curious. I'll bring you tips and motivation without any judgment, and there'll be inspiration from experts, quit-lit authors, and sober heroes. Hi and welcome to the podcast. So I hope you've had a good back to school, back to work, whatever it has been for you. And I'm not going to do that thing of talking about the weather, but oh my God, what is going on with the weather? It's like winter. Oh, it's time. We got to get like opaque tights out, gals, and all that stuff that comes with everything being autumnal. What am I going to share with you today? Got a great guest, really excited to share that I'm going to be one of the speakers on the Sober Summit, which is a great event, just a collection of amazing speakers from the sobriety world, sober fluencers, as the expression goes. And I'm alongside some greats. There's some fantastic people going to be on the Sober Summit. It all happens at the end of September. And I'm one of the speakers on that. So we're going to be speaking with Maggie, who is organising it. And if you go to the show notes for this episode, or you can go to thesoberclub.com and /events, you can find the link there where you can sign up, use my link to sign up, and then she'll know that I've brought a few people along. So sign up there, and it's free to listen to all these amazing speakers. So I thought we'd chat to Maggie, hear a bit about her story. I also want to remind you that if you are I know this is not for everybody, but if you have been sober for a while and you've been thinking of inspiring others and you're thinking, do you know what, I've heard people talk about sober coaching and I'd really love to be able to support other people, whether that's as a career or a side hustle or whether it's just something you want to do for you, then come and join our webinar. It's free to join. It's called What Does It Mean to Be a Sober Coach? And it's on Tuesday evening on Zoom. It's absolutely not sales. I'm not going to try and sell you anything, I promise you. It's just a chat about whether that's something you might be interested in at some point in the future. So you'd be very welcome to join us. Absolutely no pressure whatsoever. Hopefully you might find some interesting stuff that we're going to chat about. So that's Tuesday evening at 7:30. So just again, if you go to thesoberclub.com, click on events, you can register for that free webinar if it's of interest. And then, of course, the big news is that the Sober Club is 5. We've had our 5th birthday. It was, just amazing. I still can't get my head around it. It's really incredible. And our event is Wednesday, the 18th of September. It's not too late to join us. You can still get tickets. We've teamed up with Club Claritee. What's the point of reinventing the wheel? These guys do great parties. So we're going to be part of that Wednesday, the 18th of September in London. I think it starts at 7 p.m. in Wardour Street. Go to thesoberclub.com, click on events or look at the show notes and grab yourself a ticket. It's not expensive. I would absolutely love to meet some podcast listeners. It would be so great to see you there if you can make it to London. I do know that not everyone can. I do understand. And I will put together something online, an online meetup for more people too soon as well. Bunch of things in terms of dates to tell you about. You can find all of that at thesoberclub.com /events. Also planning an exciting podcast, book launch, all of that stuff a little bit later on in the year, November or early December. So we'll tell you about that in due course. Before we get into any of that, you may have heard last week's podcast where I chatted to Edward, who's the founder of Sober Proof. Healing relationships, one check-in at a time. That's the kind of strap line. And I just wanted to remind you about Sober Proof because we've teamed up with them for the podcast this week. So it's an app, and the whole idea of the app is that it helps relationships recover from the effects of alcohol. So it's a new way to connect and rebuild trust in relationships. And as you may have heard on last week's episode, Ed has a background in technology and app design. And after his own experience, with alcohol and those around him losing trust, he imagined this tool that could provide the structure and the accountability and the support that both sides of the relationship need to reconnect and heal. And that's how Sober Proof was born. So it's an app that helps relationships recover from the effects of alcohol and rebuild trust. It's all about check-ins on the app, small, consistent actions that can start to rebuild that trust. So you've got a member and a companion role, and it all stemmed really from his relationship with his mum. His mum needed to be able to trust him again. He was living with her, and she needed to be able to trust him. So they developed it together. And there's also their AI tool, Alf, for the Q&A. So if you're interested in this, it's a fascinating way of helping rebuild trust if if things have gone really bad for you down the alcohol rabbit hole, which of course, this is something I hear from sober coaching clients a lot, that they have, their relationships are broken down and it's really hard to convince somebody else that you really do mean it this time. So this is a way of making both sides work together and kind of feel connected and really hold you accountable effectively. So if you're interested in Sober Proof, you can check it out on Facebook, Sober Proof, and Instagram, Sober Proof Official, and join the waitlist at soberproof.ai. And we'll pop that in the show notes for you again. So as I mentioned, the Sober Summit brings together a whole bunch of speakers for inspiration, I suppose, really, education, just all of the above. Well, my guest is Maggie Clausens, who is the founder, creator, innovator, whatever we're going to call it, of the Sober Summit. It's so exciting, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have been asked to be part of it. So let's start by saying thank you, Maggie. I really appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I was absolutely thrilled when you said yes. And I was so excited to have you on. Your topic, it's going to resonate with so many people. The idea of holistic sobriety and, taking care of yourself it's such a big part of sobriety. So I was absolutely floored when you were
good. Well, I appreciate that. But before we get into the whole topic of the summit and how people can get involved, just let's hear a bit more about you. I don't know really anything about your background, so tell me a bit about your life before all of this.
Yeah, so I really fell into the mommy wine culture, which I think a lot of women can resonate with. And I also argue that there's a daddy beer culture out there as well that we don't talk about.
Yeah.
But, when the pandemic hit, I really found myself all of a sudden without a job. I was in hospitality working in hotels. And so overnight, I lost my job. I became a stay-at-home mom to 3 little kids. My youngest was 9 months old and my oldest was 4. So I had 3 kids under the age of 4. Wow. And I just, I think my wine habit was there beforehand. But the pandemic made it easier.
Ramped it up. Yeah.
It made it easier to get wine. So actually I could now have it delivered to my house, which was amazing at the time. And there was an excuse to drink, right? My days were very, very long. And everyone was telling us that it's okay, right? We're going through a pandemic. It's a hard time for everyone, and everybody was doing it. And so I really just found myself grasping for the wine bottle at night and becoming very territorial over it as well. So I found myself, measuring if I got more or my fair share than my husband did of the bottle. And, could we open another one? And, it just counting down the time till 5 o'clock till we got to open that bottle of wine. And I just found myself becoming very territorial and very protective of my wine. And if I'm honest with myself, I can go back to many different instances where wine had kind of handcuffed me in the past. I remember on Thanksgiving Day, leaving Thanksgiving dinner to go drive back to my house and grab another bottle of wine to bring to my in-laws.
Yeah, yeah.
And I left Thanksgiving dinner. Who does that?
It
But
is
that's
incredible how it starts
behold.
to control you. Yeah, literally.
Yes,
Isn't it scary? Yeah.
it is very
Gosh.
scary.
Well, I mean, I think that whole, over lockdown thing, drinking ramping up is very common. Also, of course, the whole mummy wine culture thing, as you say, that's definitely when my drinking ramped up when my kids were younger, and it just seems normal, doesn't it? Because it's what everyone's doing. And also during that whole pandemic BS, everyone was on Zoom calls, and it was obligatory to have a glass of wine in your hand there as well. In fact, I had clients who said to me, "Oh, I've got a work thing, like a work networking meeting, and everyone's taking wine." I had to kind of remind them, honey, no one's going to know what you're drinking on the other end of Zoom.
Right, exactly, exactly. But that was another reason. It was like, your company was telling you it's
Yeah.
okay to drink now while you work because we're at a pandemic. It just I think the amount of excuses we came up to continue our drinking or ramp up our drinking, it was very normalized during the
Yeah,
pandemic.
it really was. So when did you start to think, oh, something has to change then? What were the first kind of signs for you that all was not well?
Yeah, there was one specific night when I was upstairs giving the kids a bath. My husband was downstairs making dinner, and I could hear him pop open the bottle of wine. It went pop, and I, loved that sound. And I thought, but I kind of panicked, and I thought, oh my gosh, he's starting to drink without me. And I rushed through
Oh,
bath
wow.
time. I got very, very, impatient with my kids, rushing to get them done, and went downstairs and just, immediately went to the wine. And that it was just that idea of, again, that control or that hold on you that it has. And I stopped and thought, this can't be
Yeah, what
normal.
am I doing? Yeah.
This cannot be normal. Is this the type of relationship that I want to have with wine or alcohol or anything? And to me, it's really funny, Janey, because I felt like because I was drinking wine that I was okay, right?
Mm.
It didn't,
Oh, yeah, it's not the hard stuff.
it's not the hard stuff. I'm not drinking beer in the middle of the day. I'm
Yeah.
not doing shots. I'm just drinking wine. So I never ever thought I had a problem until I kind of felt myself getting very, very protective over my wine. And I
Yeah.
thought that can't be normal. And
Yeah.
that intuition just continued to grow over time. And it continued to kind of tap me on the shoulder. And there were different instances that happened that said, wait a second, is this how you want to be portrayed? Is this how you want to show up in life? And another very strong occasion was when my daughter held up, a bottle of my wine and said, "Here you go, mommy." And I'm going, oh my gosh, I do not want my 4-year-old
Yeah.
to think that this is what you do as an adult. This is
Yeah.
what you do to relax. This is what you do to celebrate. This is what you do at dinner time every single night. It really struck me. And she was a really big reason, a really big motivator of saying, how do I want to show up for her?
Yeah.
Not just as myself, but what do I want to teach her and how
Yeah,
you
totally.
deal with situations. And
Yeah.
so that was a really
Yeah.
big motivator for
Yeah,
me.
it's such a massive thing, isn't it? When, that for all those years we're showing our kids that we don't know how to take care of ourselves. We don't know how to manage our emotions. We don't know how to either have fun or be sad without alcohol. It's God, well, as you know from the interview we did together, it's my biggest regret, that I didn't stop sooner. I've got 4 kids and bless them, I wasn't present for a lot of it. As you say, you're rushing the bath time, rushing the bedtime stories. It's sad. So congratulations to you doing it sooner. That's great. So how did you get free? What did you do? Whereabouts do you live?
So I'm in Virginia in the
Okay.
US outside of Washington, D.C. So
So have you got a kind of is there a lot going on there in the kind of sober community, as it were?
yeah, so in the DC area, we have a few alcohol-free bars that are
Oh,
popping up.
amazing.
We have an alcohol-free bottle shop. So, it's growing. It's definitely growing. But, I live right in the heart of Virginia wine country. Literally from my house, I can see a vineyard. I can walk to a winery.
Right.
And so it was, that's difficult and was very difficult when I tried to stop of saying, okay, I'm like literally in the midst of it and it's everywhere. And it's what women do around here to connect as they
Yeah.
go to the winery. I'm very fortunate that, I'm very fortunate that we live in a time when we have so many different resources, and there are quite a few wineries that have non-alcoholic rosés.
Yeah,
So
that's
I go and
fantastic.
enjoy
That's fantastic. Yeah,
the time and connect with people, but I don't have to partake in the alcohol, but I can still
exactly.
feel involved, which is
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. So
But
what were the difficulties for you when you were first stopping then? What did prove hard? I mean, what about relationships with other mums and everything?
yeah, so when I first, I will have to say that my first go around was not the end all be all, right? I think for
Yeah,
many of
most of us have been around the block.
yes, right. So, when I started questioning my relationship with wine, I, read This Naked Mind. I found Annie Grace's book, This Naked Mind. I read it and I stopped that day. And it was funny because it was actually my husband and mine's 9-year wedding anniversary or 8-year wedding anniversary. And we went out to dinner and I thought, I'm not going to drink tonight. I don't want to. And I'm going to show him how much fun I can be without drinking. And it was a lot, right? It was a lot of pressure to put the smile on and be excited, but I did it and I quit for a couple of months. And I think what my biggest challenge was I didn't stay with it. I didn't stay with the books, the podcasts, the community. I wasn't filling my heart and my head with the messaging around sobriety is amazing and you can live a better life this way. So the farther I got away from my, after reading This Naked Mind, it kind of dissipated. The motivation dissipated. We went on vacation and I thought, okay, I'm on vacation. I'm going to, enjoy myself. So I had one glass of wine and that quickly went right back to my old habits. How quickly your brain remembers where you left off and just
definitely. And usually takes you a bit further down the booze elevator each
100%.
time you do it.
It does.
Yeah.
So so that was my first go around, and it wasn't until 8 or 9 months later that I tried again. And at that point, I really dove in. I listened to the podcasts for weeks. I binged everything I could get my hands on. And that really was, I used books and podcasts as my motivator to do it. And then to keep me sober. So time that I had a craving or an urge or a trigger, I would go listen to a podcast. I'd go take a walk, listen to a podcast. I'd read a book, whatever it was, just to get that messaging of, and remembering why I'm doing this in the first place, why I wanted to do it in the first place.
Yeah, fantastic. Really and what about your husband then? Did he come along for the ride, or how did that pan out?
I get this question a lot. He did not. He did not. So he still drinks today.
Yeah.
He's, a habitual drinker as well. But, from time to time, I will catch him on a sober podcast, listening to one. And, he's constantly seeing me do my thing with the Sober Summit and getting to meet all these incredible people in the space. So, I can't ask him to be sober, just like
absolutely.
I want him to ask me to drink again.
No, absolutely. So, you have to do it for yourself, don't you? It's interesting. But I do find it interesting. The only reason I ask is because, I have a lot of clients who find that, their partner, I mean, you don't need your partner to do exactly the same thing as you. You just need the respect for whatever you're doing, don't you, really? But it is interesting that often when one person stops drinking, the change in them is so amazing that it's like, oh, I want a little bit of what she's having. So it'll be interesting to see, won't it, moving forward? But you must have noticed, that you're a much more present parent, amongst all the other blessings.
And I'm still learning, right? And this is what I love about the sober space, is that I'm continually learning about myself. I'm continuing to discover new tools and resources to put into play, and then turning around and teaching my kids that. So, learning different breath work, learning havening or EFT tapping, or even just dancing. When I get triggered and I become impatient, it's like, let's throw on some music.
Yeah, exactly. One of the best ways you can help children to learn how to manage anxiety and stress is just teach them to put some music on, right? And dance.
It's amazing.
Shake
And they
it
love
out.
to do it. Shake it out. Yes.
Brilliant.
Like, what are some other ways? And so I do feel very fortunate that my kids buy into it a lot, and we help each other, you know, and I think too, my oldest, who is now 8, she does understand the idea that there's 2 parts of your brain, right? You've got your animal brain, and she understands. So we read the chimp paradox, but there's
great. Yeah. Paradox.
And the
Is
kids,
there? I didn't know that. That's fantastic.
Because if you've seen the chimp
Because
paradox,
I interviewed the guy. I interviewed the author a long time ago when I was working on the BBC, and really fascinating. I did not know there was a kids one.
It's incredible. So if you know the chimp paradox, the book is like 3 inches thick.
Yeah.
Huge. And the kids version, I loved it. It dumbed it down.
Yeah, to simplify it
really
all.
made it simple. And there were, different prompts that we did every night when we went through a chapter. So she really understands this idea of like, oh, this is my chimp brain. So Brilliant. It's funny, you know, there's times when my lid will be flipped and I will lose my patience, and she'll say, Mommy, I think your chimp is coming out.
Oh, that's so cool, isn't it? Isn't that exactly what we need? That's pretty much all we need to learn in school, actually. Everything else, you know, we can go and find out. But to know how to understand our thoughts, that you are not your thoughts, that you can take back control, that you can, you know, embrace all emotions and you know, all of that stuff. That's the only stuff we need, really, and that's just never taught. So God, how fantastic that you're doing that with the kids. Wonderful. I love
amazing.
it.
And I don't want to take full credit either, because I feel like now in our day and age, especially after the pandemic and this huge awareness of mental health, you know, they're starting to teach this stuff in our school system. At least they're starting to
I hope so. I don't know that they are here. Maybe someone will put me right, but I don't know. I mean, we all need it, don't we? We all need that stuff actually really simplified, and I think that's where, you know, I mean, that leads on to my topic in the summit, you know, which is that look at holistic sobriety. You know, that what we all need is to look at our holistic well-being. We need to look at it all holistically. It's not just doing the yoga, you know, it's not just meditating, it's not just eating organic food or whatever bit you've cherry picked. It has to be the whole approach. But that doesn't mean you have to be perfect at everything. You know, it doesn't mean you have to exhaust yourself. It just means you need an awareness, right, of all those pieces and how important they are. And of course, I would say, and you would, underpinned by the sobriety piece. But for so many people, they kind of just go, oh, well, I've stopped drinking, but they haven't bothered to even glance at the other pieces, right? So that's, you know, obviously that's my topic in the summit. But anyways, tell us how the summit came about and tell us all about it.
Yeah, so the summit, to be quite honest, it wasn't something that I wanted to do. I did not want to be the face of it. I'm such an introvert, and I think a lot of us find that when we become sober. I'm an outgoing introvert, right? I get my energy.
Well, a lot of people do find that when they're sober. You're right. Yeah, they find they're highly sensitive and introverted when they thought they were like seriously party guys and gals.
Exactly. So this idea of like interviewing everybody and you know, actually being on camera is just not really my expertise or my comfort zone at all. But I had this idea because I attended a lot of health and wellness summits in my lifetime, and I really enjoy them. They're a great way to get in front of new experts, find out new information, and get motivation to whatever topic it is. I was attending a couple on sugar because after I gave up alcohol, I had a real sweet tooth. So I was attending, there's 2 really great summits here in the US that are around sugar, quitting sugar. So I was attending those, and I thought, oh gosh, I got to go find the one on alcohol because I need that as well. And I couldn't find one. So I pitched the idea to a couple of podcasters, and I thought, I'll just be in the background. I'll do the website, the marketing, all that. And I got a polite no. But if I were to do it, they would be a part of it. And so I kind of started down this path of planning it. And then as more and more speakers started saying yes, I'm going, oh my gosh, I actually have to do this thing. You have to do it.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
So we
That's
did our
so
first
exciting.
one. Yeah, we did our first one April 2023, and we had over 5,000 people attend. It was incredible.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
It
Well,
was
I think you'll
amazing.
get even more this time. So tell us a bit about how it works then. So people sign up for free and get to watch the videos online. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's a virtual event. You can be in your PJs on your couch. You don't have to go anywhere, which is amazing. It's a 3-day event. So we have 24 speakers, and each day we have 8 different interviews going live at 8 o'clock Eastern, which, the time zone, everybody gets the same 24 hours, but
Yeah,
it's free to
exactly.
watch for 24
Yeah,
hours.
yeah.
So you can watch that day's interviews, and then once the 24 hours are up, we'll move on to day 2, day 3, and so on. So
And just remind us when it starts.
September 25th is when it
Brilliant.
starts, and it'll go for those 3 days. We've got some incredible speakers, yourself, Jolene Park, Sober Dave, Sharon Hartley from Over the Influence. We've got
Cool.
Sarah Williamson. We've got Laura Cathcart Robbins, the author of Stash. I mean, it's an incredible.
You've got Derek, haven't you? Cocktail.
Yes, Derek Santiago.
Cocktails. Yeah, yeah.
Cocktail whiz. Yes,
Fantastic.
he's so great. So yeah, that's a fun thing. I tried to mix it up a little bit this time. So we've got Derek and Deb Podlager from Mocktail Mom doing mocktails for us. So it's kind of like
Excellent.
I got to have like a little cooking show in my kitchen. Which
Oh,
is
wonderful, wonderful. And then there's also lots of kind of bits and bobs of freebies attached as well, isn't there? Some of the speakers have offered some little PDFs and various bits and bobs.
Oh my gosh, the speakers have been so generous. So yes, when you're watching that interview, some of the speakers have given freebies away that you can opt into during that time, which is amazing. And then we're going to have a lot of fun. So there's a digital goodie bag that everyone will have access to with exclusive discounts to different products and services within the sober space. And then we're going to play some bingo, and a lot of the speakers have given away some incredible prizes. So there's chances to win, and there's a community you can be involved in and find, your new sober bestie, or, just get the support that you need. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
Great. Well, it sounds wonderful. Well done, you. It's great, and literally, there's nothing to lose. It's free to sign up. You got all these access to all this amazing stuff, and yeah. And I'm as I say, really delighted to be part of it. Love talking about holistic sobriety, obviously, and if it can, add something to the mix, that's amazing. So thank you very much for asking me.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you were part of it. I'm fangirl every time I get to talk to someone like yourself, right? I get to be a fan and interview people that really inspire me and really help me on my sober journey. So this is, again, like I'm continually learning. So when I get to speak to you and hear you talk about holistic sobriety, I learn something. I get so much out of it personally. Yeah. And then to be able to share that with the world is just, it's amazing.
I mean, that's why I started my podcast. I literally started the podcast because I'd run out of podcasts to listen to, and I needed to keep myself inspired. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to, there's all these people I actually really quite like to talk to. So I just start my own podcast.
That's great.
And,
yes.
and as you say, we get to learn too. It's brilliant. So, okay, fantastic. So I'm going to put the link in the show notes, and obviously I'll pop it on the Sober Club as well. And I really appreciate you taking the time to share this with us, Maggie. And I hope it's all hugely successful. And well done you. It's very exciting.
Well, thank you so much, Janey. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you, Maggie. So I'm going to put the link to the Sober Summit, which you can sign up for free if you use my link. It's in the show notes for this podcast. You can also go to thesoberclub.com, click on events, and you'll find it there as well. And of course, follow me on social media. I'll mention it there too, so you know where to find me, at Janey Lee Grace on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere, really. You can find me usually. Don't forget as well, my topic for the Sober Summit is holistic sobriety. It's something I find myself talking about an awful lot. And I have a new course out on holistic sobriety. It is what we do in the Sober Club. It really is that piece of it's not just the giving up the alcohol, the stopping drinking, not allowed to use the phrase giving up, by the way, quitting alcohol. It's everything that comes after that. It's how you create that life that you don't want to escape from. So that's what we do in the Sober Club. We have members who are day one and members who have been sober for many, many years. And now they're thinking, okay, what else can I level up? We had a lovely message from someone in the group in the week who said, it's my birthday, I'm 50 years old today, and I just can't believe the difference in how I feel. It's like I've been given a second chance at life. And it really is true. Sober birthdays are just the best. Your often soberversaries are the best. It really is just a complete change of life. You've heard me say this so many times, but and then as the years go by, it gets better and better, particularly if you're doing all the other pieces. It really isn't just, in inverted commas, about stopping drinking and then all the other old stuff starts to creep back in. You get cross addictions with crappy food or whatever else you're trying to fill a void with. It's about stopping drinking. Take that piece out, because that's the toxicity that's underpinning everything. And then from that new place, you can start to level up all the pieces that help you piece your life back together. And it's like that missing piece of the holistic jigsaw, but you've got to do the other bits too, without exhausting yourself. That's really my mantra, I suppose. It's my Platinum Awards this week as well, just slight change of subject. So with my other hat on, as you know, I love promoting natural and organic and eco brands, and next week sees the winners of the Platinum Awards announced, and there's some great competitions still to be had, by the way, still to be entered at imperfectlynatural.com. And if anyone is in London, there's a non-toxic pop-up shop at Hello Love in Bloomsbury, and there's a few of the products there that have entered the awards. So there's lots of nice stuff going on. But you know where to find me. Come and join us at the Sober Club. If you want to support this work, but you don't want to join the Sober Club, that's fine. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/Janey Lee Grace, or you can drop a couple of quid into our Sober Club giveback fund. That's always lovely when people want to support this work. But anyways, I am really hoping that I get to meet some of you next Wednesday at our Sober Club 5th birthday event with Club Claritee. It would be so great to see you. If you're coming, maybe drop me a message, and if you're concerned, if you're worried because you're coming on your own, drop me a message. We'll make sure somebody comes and finds you. And I really look forward to meeting some of you. I might see some of you before that, Tuesday night, if you're joining our webinar, What Does It Mean to Be a Sober Coach? And wherever you are in the world, if you can't get to any meetings, just stay connected, because, that connection piece, even if it is just virtual, it means everything. It's what keeps that fire burning. It really is what makes a difference. Again, I've had several members this week, coaching clients or people within the Sober Club, who've said to me, I was sober for a long period of time, and then something tripped me up. It was a birthday, it was a party, it was being on holiday, it was something happened, and I realized that I hadn't been kind of stoking the fire, as it were. I hadn't continued, I hadn't stayed inspired. I just allowed it to be a thing. Oh, well, I'm not really, I'm clearly not an alcoholic. It's not a problem for me. And then, the unconscious mind just says, oh, it'd be rude not to drink, really. It's party. And I hear this so often. You have to stay connected. You have to stay inspired. You have to stay focused on what it is you want for the future. And that's my absolute mantra. It's this creating this life that you don't want to escape from, right? So we've got lots going on. Stay connected. If you're doing this and you're feeling, isolated and thinking, oh, I don't want to join the Sober Club, I don't want to go to an event, or I'm somewhere else in the world, reach out anyway. Send me a message. I reply to as many messages as I possibly can. And just let somebody know that you're quitting alcohol. Let somebody know. Tell us that you're doing this. That holds you accountable. It allows someone, whether that's me or someone close to you, to hold that vision for you. And that's why it works so well when you're a member of the Sober Club, because, if you've posted on our Facebook group, which is totally non-judgmental, very small, I reply to pretty much every single message. Then if you've posted on there to say that you're doing this and then you decide to trip up, it's like another layer of like, oh God, I'm going to have to go on the group and say, oh, I blew it again. And sometimes that's enough to get you past it, to get you through those moments where you need to, surf that urge or whatever your expression you like to use, scratch the itch, find another way, right? There are so many other ways. Have your resources in place. Anyways, I will see you next week for the podcast, and I really hope I'm going to get to see some of you next Wednesday on our 5th birthday. Thank you for listening to the Alcohol Free Life podcast, brought to you by the Sober Club. Please rate and review. And if you want support, accountability and inspiration, and you want to live your best life without the booze, check out thesoberclub.com.